Hello, guys, and welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Now, we've got a special style list video for you today. We've not done one for a little while, and I think this might actually be your first one on the channel, Ray.
Definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Now, as we all know, the featherweight division it's hot right now. It's popping off. Every time we get a world title fight, we seem to get a new world champion, which is great. And it's exciting. So what we thought we'd do is we give you our top three. Ray's got a list. I've got a list. So we'll get straight into it. Before we do, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let us know what you think on this in the comment section. So, Ray, hit me with your top three.
Yes, I'm going to go for, number three, I'm going to go with Ray Vargas. Look, I mean, I followed this guy since 2017 when he beat Gavin McDonnell. He got a decision win there on points. He just looked a class above McDonnell, and I always thought McDonnell was limited going in. He didn't have that edge that Jamie did, but albeit he looked really dominant. He was taller than the McDonnell, and we all know McDonnell's were huge for the weight. He looked terrific on the outside, and I just thought that this kid was certainly one to watch. I like these wins against Tamida. And also Mark Matsayo, you know, we can't forget. I mean, he was down in that fight. I think he's been down overall in his career 3 times. But we're not talking about a chinny fighter here. We're talking about a guy that just gets caught on the inside when he's trying to mix it up, but gets back. And the reason why I like this kid is because he makes adjustments mid-fight. And that's why he's a 2-weight world champion. He's got a terrific set of attributes. You know, he can mix it up. He can box on the outside and not be hit. So I think he's got a bright future at featherweight. I'm going to go for him as number 3. My number 2 choice is going to be interesting for a lot of people, but that's because the reason why I love the featherweight division is it's a bit like what I call rock, paper, scissors fun kind of division. You've had people that have beaten people. So you've had people like Magsayo beating Gary Russell Jr. You've had Lara beating Warrington. You've had Warrington beating Martinez, so on and so forth. But I'm going to go for Josh Warrington because I think he's got the best resume of the lot of the featherweights, and he's the IBF champion again. I still think that Lara defeat will haunt him. I know he tried to put that right, and it was unlucky that it didn't get the ending it deserved. But that's for a future date. Let's see how Lara progresses and make that a mouth-watering unification fight. But for me, it's got to be Josh Warrington. Number 1, Emmanuel Navarrete. I don't think. I mean, how can it not be? That's in my opinion. Although he's only had 3 or 4 fights at the weight, he's looked very, very impressive in each and one of those fights. He's got that perfect combination of skill, ability, and power. And I think if anyone wants to call themselves number 1 at the division, they need to see him.
Well, I'm impressed with that list, and I'm a little bit surprised. I'll give you mine, and then I'll explain why I'm surprised. Number 3, I've gone Lee Wood. I like what you've said about Ray Vargas, but I just think with how busy the featherweight scene is at the minute, I just think it's a bit too soon. Maybe 1 or 2 fights too soon to be putting him in there. But I've gone Lee Wood just because I think at 126, that power that he's got, I just think he could stop any one of them, including Navarrete. I just think it's like the great, same as what we say about Wilder at heavyweight, isn't it? It's the great equalizer. So as we saw with Michael Conlan, he can be heavily down in a fight and then he knocks the man out the ring. So I just think you can't discount him. I also think at the time when he beat Kanju, a lot of people were talking about as possibly being the best out there, despite the inactivity. And Lee Wood, I think, you know, that's got to be one of the best upsets in recent years, hasn't it? To be fair, I don't think anybody expected. I don't even think Matchroom, they didn't make that fight expecting Lee Wood to win that fight, did they? It was all a precursor for the Josh Warrington fight. So I've gone Lee Wood there, and I know there's the talk this week of Santa Cruz taking the fight with him, but the WBA need to have a serious word with themselves because the whole regular belt situation Lee Wood's made a complete mockery of it. How he's not their champion is absolutely disgusting. But it is what it is. Lee Wood's number 3 for me. And now this is the bit where I'm surprised. I've gone Josh Warrington at 2, and resume being my main reason. I just think, when you look at who he's fought and beaten, you just can't pick fault with it. There's nowhere where you could say he's worked with various promoters. Obviously, Matchroom, went to Frank Warren, went back with Matchroom. He's been matched really well. He's got the fan base behind him. His fighting style's attractive. And I'd also say, in fairness, and a few fighters have said it, I know Carl Frampton was very vocal about it, that he hits a lot harder than his actual resume suggests, to be fair. And I think it's fair to say after his last fight, Kiko Martinez would probably back that up as well. So he's exciting. So I can't add anything more to what you've said. I've gone Josh Warrington number 2. And then number 1, we're in agreement, mate. I've gone Navarrete for the exact same reasons. I think, his overall skill set, it's just, for me, certainly at featherweight, it's as close to the perfect mix as I think you've got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every other featherweight, you can pick a fault with their game where if you were fighting them, where you'd be trying to exploit. Navarrete is so well-rounded. I always think of, those graphs you get where, they change shape depending on the tribute. He's nearly the full circle, isn't he? He does everything well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a bombshell, and it's probably not quite what people want to see, because we're agreeing on 2 out of 3, and that doesn't happen. Normally, we disagree on a lot. So
it is because we've got obvious different biases towards styles in boxing. You prefer come forward, aggressive fighters, punchers. I lean towards boxers, particularly those boxers who are on the outside. I prefer outside style of fighting. So it's really interesting, that list, isn't it? But I think it's just testament to recognizing true talent when we see it. We've got a good eye for talent. Lee Wood was one I was contemplating on, because the Kanju win was, I think people will look back and give it the credit it deserves. Kanju was seen, although he hadn't been in the ring in a while, but he was seen as a very good world champion. And then obviously the Conlon win. I mean, Conlon was a tricky opponent. I think the thing with me is Conlon had campaigned down at bantamweight as well. I think that's what maybe having that little asterisk on the Conlon win. But the fact that Conlon was still having the better of that fight and was winning it, it's how he came back. And we'll go back to having that great equaliser. Lee was going to cause any featherweight problems. And there's some other names that didn't make that list as well. Some great talents. Laura, Gary Russell Jr., I think can still come back at that weight. Mark Magsayo is still technically in the mix. And this is what I mean. Everyone could beat anyone. And we need to see how Leo Santa Cruz does in that fight against Lee Wood, which I think will eventually happen. So, yeah, I think the guys in the comments need to tell us what their thoughts were, whether they agree or whether they disagree with us, don't they, Josh?
No, definitely. Ray's hit the nail on the head there, guys. Let us know in the comments your top 3. You may agree with us, you may disagree. Let us know and tell us why. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We will be back live tomorrow night. I believe, Ray, are we live, aren't we? Yeah.
100%.
There we go. So it'll be 8:45, guys, same as usual. So join us. Let us know in the comment section. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.